In the heart of Lagos, the sun doesn't just rise. It burns through the morning mist, exposing the jagged divide between those who feast in glass towers and those who starve in the dust. Efe Amadi now sits behind a desk of polished mahogany, but the ghosts of his past don't care about his title or the trillions in his bank account. They only care about the scent of gold. They say when you escape the pit, you should never look back. But in this city, the pit has a way of growing legs and following you home. The Foster family that once held Ife's life in their calloused, cruel hands has tasted a bitterness more potent than the gin they crave. They have been humiliated, cast out of the kingdom they thought they could claim by right of proximity. But a predator that has been denied his meal doesn't go hungry for long. It simply finds a sharper way to bite. Back in the bowels of the mainland, far from the cooling vents of the Amadi Group's executive suites, the air is thick with the smell of open gutters and cheap tobacco.
The Foster family's home, the crumbling structure that Ife once scrubbed until his fingers bled, is now a pressure cooker of resentment.
The Foster father, a man whose soul has been fermented in years of local brew and wasted potential, doesn't sit in his chair. He collapses into it. The sound of a glass bottle meeting the concrete floor echoes like a gunshot through the small, cramped room. It doesn't just break, it shatters, much like his hope of an easy payday. He isn't just drunk, he is possessed by a frantic, vibrating rage. He stares at the flickering light bulb hanging from the ceiling, seeing Ife's calm, composed face in every shadow. The Foster mother is no better. She doesn't sit, she paces. She is a caged animal, her wrapper tight around her waist, her footsteps a rhythmic thud against the dirt-stained floor. Her voice is a low, jagged hiss, a constant stream of curses directed at the boy she used to lock in the shed. To her, Ife's wealth isn't a miracle. It's a personal insult. It's a theft. She views every kobo he spends on his new life as money stolen from her own home. She isn't thinking about the years of abuse she piled on his shoulders. She is calculating the cost of the jewelry she saw on the secretary's neck and the luxury cars she saw in the company parking lot. The humiliation of being escorted out by security guards has stripped away the last of her pretend motherly concern. Now, there's only the raw, naked desire to see him bleed, either in currency or in spirit. She stops her pacing and looks at her husband, her eyes narrow. She tells him that shouting at the walls won't bring the money back. She tells him that Efe has grown a thick skin, a skin they can't pierce with just tears and tantrum. He's surrounded himself with walls of glass and men in suits, but she knows those walls have cracks. She reminds her husband that Efe was raised by them. They know his fears, they know his soft spots, and they know that people who move in the dark corners of the city where a suit is just a target. They need a plan that doesn't involve the front gate. They need to get inside, and they need someone who knows how to open the doors that Efe thinks are locked. This is where the shadows of the slum truly begin to lengthen. The Foster mother knows that to catch a man who lives in the light, you have to hire someone who was born in the dark. She sends her eldest son, the Foster brother, to find small Jago in the underworld of the Lagos mainland. Names like Jago aren't whispered with respect, but with a cold, hollow feel. Small Jago is a middleman, a fixer for the desperate and the depraved. He operates out of a back room in a bar that doesn't have a name, a place where the music is always too loud to hear a scream and the smoke is thick enough to hide a face. The meeting is a collision of two different worlds of desperation. Small Jago sits across from the Foster family, his eyes like polished obsidian, showing no emotion as the Foster mother lays out her grievance. She doesn't tell him the truth, of course. She paints a picture of a son who has abandoned his starving parents, a boy who has stolen a fortune that belongs to the family. Jago doesn't care about the morality of the story. He only cares about the percentage. He listens to the layout of the Ahmadi Group headquarters, the descriptions of the security details, and the schedules they managed to glean during their brief, chaotic visit. But Jago is smarter than the foster mother. He knows that charging the front gates of a trillionaire's empire is a fool's errand. He suggests a more surgical approach. He tells them that every great house has a back door, and every back door is guarded by someone who feels undervalued. He has a contact, a disgruntled maid working in the executive wing of the Ahmadi Group. She is a woman who sees the luxury every day, but never gets to touch it. A woman whose heart is fertile ground for the seeds of betrayal. The plan begins to take shape. A two-pronged assault designed to ruin Ife's name before they ever put a hand on his person. Jago will handle the infiltration, but the foster family has to provide the spark. While the parents plot the physical infiltration, the foster siblings are busy weaving a different kind of web. They may not have Ife's wealth, but they have the weapons of the modern age, smartphones, and a bottomless well of spies. The foster brother and sister, who spend their youth making Ife's life a living hell, are now huddled over a glowing screen in the corner of their shack. They understand the power of a narrative. They know that in Nigeria, the only thing people love more than a rags to riches story is the story of a rich man who has forgotten his roots. They begin to craft a campaign of character assassination. They don't use their real names. They create dozens of fake accounts, burner profiles that look like everyday citizens. They start posting leaked stories about Ife's alleged true nature. They post glory photos of the foster father looking frail and sick, captioned with lies about how Ife refused to pay for his dying father's medicine. They write long, emotional threads about how Ife was a problem child who ran away with the family's life savings. They use the very environment Ife is trying to improve, the slums, as a backdrop for their lies. They film short, tearful videos of the foster mother sitting in the dirt crying about her lost son, who now lives in a palace while she eats scraps. It is a digital poison, and it spreads fast. In the high-speed world of social media, the truth is often less important than the emotional weight of the lie. Within hours, the hashtag starts trending. People who have never met Ife, people who were cheering for him just days ago, begin to turn. They call him a fake, a snob, and a traitor to his blood. The foster siblings watch the numbers climb. The likes, the shares, the angry comments with a predatory glee. They are creating a smokescreen. They want Ife so busy defending his reputation and dealing with the PR nightmare that he won't see the real threat coming through the service elevator. Back on the Ahmadi Group, the atmosphere has shifted. Ife can feel it the moment he walks through the lobby. The smiles from the staff are a little more strained. The whispers in the hallway die down a second too late when he passes by. He hasn't seen the social media posts yet, but his secretary has. She enters his office, her face a mask of professional concern, and hands him a tablet. Ife looks at the screen, watching a video of his foster mother wailing about her broken heart. He sees the comments section, a sea of vitriol and judgment. He sees his own face photoshopped into mocking memes. The secretary tells him they need to issue a formal statement. She says the board of directors is already receiving calls from investors worried about the stability of the new CEO's character. But Ife just stares at the screen, a deep, weary sadness in his eyes. He recognizes the background of the video, the same wall he used to lean against when he was too tired to stand. He knows exactly what they are doing. He tells the secretary that if he responds, he gives the lie life. He thinks that if he stays silent, the truth will eventually surface. He is still learning that in the world of the powerful, silence is not viewed as dignity, is viewed as a confession. The secretary tries to explain the danger. She tells him that this isn't just about mean words on the internet. This is a coordinated attack. She has seen this before. The way a family's greed can be weaponized by rivals as or criminals. She urges him to increase his security, to vet every member of the domestic staff, and to move his meetings to a more secure location. But Efe is stubborn. He still carries the heart of the orphan who wanted to be loved. Part of him can't believe that they will go this far. He thinks he can outwork the hate. He thinks that the housing project, the schools he's planning, and the lives he's changing will be his shield. He spent so many years being invisible that he doesn't realize how bright the target on his back has become. He is a trillionaire in a city where people kill for a handful of naira. To his foster family, he isn't a person. He's a lottery ticket that refuses to be cashed. And they are tired of waiting. As the sun sets over Lagos, painting the sky in bruises of purple and orange, the plan moves into its final phase of preparation. In the dark bar, small Jago hands a small encrypted device to the disgruntled Maid. It's a keycard cloner, a piece of technology that shouldn't exist in the slums, but does. He tells her exactly which doors to open and which security cameras have a blind spot. He reminds her of the payout, a sum of money that would take her 20 years to earn honestly. The maid looks at the device, her hands shaking, but the memory of her own unpaid bills and the sight of Ife's luxury car every morning hardens her heart. She nods. In the slum, the foster family gathers for one last vow. They stand in a circle in the middle of their crumbling living room. The smell of gin and desperation heavy in the air. The foster father raises a glass, not to toast, but to seal a pact. He swears that by this time next week, Efe will be begging them for mercy. He swears that they will take back the investments they made in the boy's life, with interest paid in blood and tears. The foster siblings join in, their faces lit by the blue light of their phones, their thumbs still busy typing out more lies, more poison, more shadows. The foster mother stands at the center, the undisputed architect of this misery. She isn't shouting anymore. She is smiling. It's a cold, terrifying expression that has no joy in it. She tells her children that Efe thinks he's a lion because he's sitting on a throne above them. But he's forgotten that he was raised by hyenas. And hyenas don't need to be stronger than a lion. They just need to be more patient. They just need to wait until the lion is tired, until the lion is distracted, and then they strike the throat. Efe Amadi stands on his balcony, looking out at the sprawling city. He sees the lights of the mainland in the distance, a shimmering carpet of a million stories, most of them filled with struggle. He thinks about the boy he used to be, the boy who would have looked up at this very balcony and wondered what kind of gods lived up here. He wants to be a different kind of God. He wants to be the one who reaches down and pulls others up. He doesn't know that the people he once called family are currently tying the rope that they hope will drag him back down into the mud. He doesn't see the maid as she lingers a second too long near the executive elevator. He doesn't see the small Jagos of the world gathering their tools in the darkness of the alleys. He doesn't see the way the social media type is turning into a digital lynch mob, fueled by the very people who should have loved him. He thinks he has won because he has the money. He thinks he is safe because he has the truth. But in the shadows of the slum, the truth is just another thing you trade for a chance at the top. The game is no longer about checks and balances. It's no longer about boardroom and balance sheets. It has returned to the place where Efe began. The dirt, the sweat, and the raw animal instinct for survival. The foster family has made their move. They have planted the seeds of doubt in the public's mind, and they have placed their spies within his walls. They are no longer just the poor relatives causing a sin. They are a coordinated force of vengeance, driven by a greed so deep it has become a religion. The night air in Lagos is never truly still. It carries the sounds of 1,000 different lives clashing against each other. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks, a car backfires, and a group of people in a nameless bar laugh at a joke only they understand. Ife turns away from the view and goes inside, the heavy glass door sliding shut with a soft, expensive hiss. He thinks he's locking the world out. He doesn't realize that the world he is trying to escape is already inside, waiting for the lights to go out. The foster mother sits back down in her tattered chair, watching the clock. Every tick is a step closer to the strike. Every second is a piece of Efe's empire crumbling in her mind. She isn't just planning a robbery, she's planning a reclamation. She wants to see the look on his face when he realizes that all the money in the world can't buy him an escape from who he was. She wants to see the trillionaire turn back into the orphan. And as the city of Lagos settles into the uneasy silence of the midnight hour, the shadows of the slum begin to move, creeping toward the light, hungry and relentless. The first strike is coming, and it won't be a headline or a tweet. It will be the sound of a door opening that should have stayed locked